Hello everyone, a quick news message. Julian Paul Assange, born Julian Paul Hawkins on July 3rd, 1971. He's an Australian computer programmer, and he was granted political asylum as a fugitive from British justice, a warrant breaching his bail conditions. He's the editor of Wikileaks, founded in 2006. And gained international attention in 2010, when Wikileaks published a series of leaks provided by Chelsea Manning. These leaks included the collateral murder video, April 2010, the Afghanistan war logs, July 2010, the Iraq war logs, October 2010, and Cablegate, November 2010. Following the 2010 leaks, the federal government of the United States launched a criminal investigation into it and asked allied nations for assistance. In November 2010, Sweden issued an international arrest warrant for Assange. He had been questioned there months earlier over allegations of sexual assault and rape. Assange denied the allegations and said that he would be extradited from Sweden to the United States because of his role in publishing secret American documents. Assange surrendered to UK police on 7 December 2010, but was released on bail within 10 days. Having been unsuccessful in his challenge to the proceedings, he breached his bail and absconded. He was granted asylum by Ecuador in August 2012, and has remained in the Embassy of Ecuador in London since then. Assange has held Ecuadorian citizenship since 12 December 2010. During the 2016 Democratic Party presidential primaries, Wikileaks hosted emails sent or received by candidate Hillary Clinton from her private email server when she was Secretary of State. After the Democratic Party, with cybersecurity experts, claimed that Russian intelligence had hacked Clinton campaign-related emails and leaked them to Wikileaks, Assange said Clinton was causing hysteria about Russia. He consistently denied any connection to or cooperation with Russia in relation to the leaks. On 19 May 2017, the Swedish prosecutors dropped their investigation into the rape accusation against Assange and applied to revoke the European arrest warrant. Although he is free to leave the embassy, it is likely that he would be arrested for the criminal offense of breaching his bail conditions. The London Metropolitan Police have indicated that an arrest warrant is still in force for Assange for his failure to surrender himself to his bail. On 27 July 2018, Ecuadorian President Lenin Moreno said that he had begun talks with British authorities to withdraw the asylum for Assange. In December, Assange turned down an offer that would have allowed him to leave the embassy with the guarantee that the UK would not extradite him to any country where he could face the death penalty. Let's go back in time and remember the 2016 election. Assange did imply that Seth Rich, who worked for the DNC, his death was a hit because Seth Rich leaked those emails to WikiLeaks. However, we know that John Podesta, Hillary's campaign manager, had a password, and the password was password. So any idiot could have broken in to those emails. She put her emails on an unsecured server, a private server, in her basement, in the bathroom. Obama knew about this because he sent and received emails from this server, from Hillary Clinton's personal server, that was not a .gov account. So therefore, it was not a secure account. She did this on purpose. I believe she did this on purpose because she prostituted. She had sold herself to every country in the world. They paid her millions of dollars, billions of dollars, put into the Clinton Foundation. To get favors, it was a pay-for-play scheme. That way, when they asked the President of the United States for something, she would do it for them. This way, she could also claim that she didn't realize that somebody had broken into her server. She didn't give any of this information, this classified information, to any country in the world. She didn't do it. They would have had to have hacked into her server. So she could claim, Comey said that she did not intend for this to happen. Well, you do intend for it to happen. When you were the first lady of the nation, you were senator, and you were, I take that back, first lady of this nation, and you want to be president of the United States, and you put out an awful lot of commercials, remember what you did to Obama, that at 3 o'clock in the morning, and something tragic happens in the world, who do you want to be there to pick up the phone or push the button? Obama or her? 3 o'clock in the morning. That was a racist commercial because it implies the racists, people who don't like African American people, have put out the idea that they're not on time and they sleep a lot. It's an awful thing, but this commercial, that's what this commercial was. It was racist. She's the one who started the birth certificate. You know, the birther movement, she's the one who started it. Sidney Blumenthal, he worked for Hillary Clinton. He's the one who uncovered all this information for her. Because Obama himself said in his, when he wrote Dreams of My Father, and his bio, when he was editor of the Harvard Law Review. Oh yes, and also his wife, Michelle, mentioned this in a speech, and the speech is on YouTube. In all three, he said that he was born in Kenya. He was not born in America, and she repeated this in a speech, Michelle Obama. So the birther movement was started by Hillary Clinton, and she also put out pictures of him dressed in African garb, African Muslim garb, to show the world not only was he not born in America, but he's not American in any way, shape, or form, therefore should not be president of the United States. But we also noticed, all of us noticed, that when she was running, and he was running for president, and John Edwards were running, there were 3 Democrat candidates, that the national anthem was playing, and both John Edwards and Hillary Clinton did the right thing by putting their hands over their heart, which is something that every grade school child does, especially in their day. Every single morning, when you pledge allegiance, you put your hand over your heart. Obama had his hands at his side. Now, clearly showing he wasn't American. He didn't like America. And Hillary Clinton was getting this out. But very interesting that he backed her as if she was going to continue his policies. The policies were neither of theirs, but it is the destruction of America. It's the destruction of every country in this world to turn it to globalism. The people behind all this, it's the EU. It's worldwide communism, an unelected body of dictators, which is what the EU is. That's who's really upset at this. Now, Seth Rich was killed, shot, and nothing was stolen. No money, not his watch, nothing was taken. Hillary, I'm sure, was quite pissed that all this happened, but Julian Assange leaking this information about just how incompetent she was. She was the one that was supposed to answer the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning. But where was she when the 685 requests came in from the Libyan embassy? The ambassador had sent 685 requests to her for help because the guards at that embassy were not armed. They had to keep the guns locked up. They didn't have enough protection, and there were demonstrations in the streets. They knew that it was going to be raided, and they knew they were going to be killed, but later on we did find out that there were arms being smuggled through the Libyan embassy to Syria to arm the rebels, and the rebels were ISIS. So she was not competent. She was sleeping on the job, and neither did she tell that this was going to happen and the embassy was going to be taken down. So Obama was not on the job. He was at a fundraiser, campaign fundraiser. After all, he needs to get reelected. I think it was $35,000 a plate. He had to fly out of town. And she was also sleeping on the job, so to speak. Both of them cared about themselves. They didn't care that the embassy was being taken down, but it was the ambassador that knew what was going on. The smuggling of the arms to the rebel ISIS fighting in Syria. When your ambassador asks for help, you give them help. You don't go off to a fundraiser. They let them die. 4 Americans died in the attack. Ambassador J. Christopher Stevens, Information Officer Sean Smith, and 2 CIA operatives, Glenn Doherty and Tyrone Woods, both former Navy SEALs. Stevens was the first United States ambassador killed in an attack since Adolph Dubs was killed in Kabul, Afghanistan in 1979. You give them help. You don't let them die. But they let them die. And they blamed it on a Christian from Libya that put out an anti-Islamic video. And so he was thrown in jail on something about check fraud. They put him in jail for nothing. It wasn't his, as it turns out. It wasn't his video that they saw and got all riled up. And she patted the backs, consoling the relatives. People who had lost their sons, their husbands, their brothers, lying to them, oh, we're going to get that man who made that anti-Islamic video, and we're going to throw him in jail. They knew that these attacks were coming. She was lying. Oh, yeah, that's right. What difference does it make? What difference does it make? They're dead. It was a long time ago. I want to be president of the United States, so we need to push this aside. Hillary Clinton. Yes, Hillary Clinton. Why do we know so much about Hillary Clinton's dirty dealings, her pay-for-play scheme, about taking $150 million from Putin and then selling him 20% of Americans' finite uranium supply that Putin will use to make nuclear bombs. if he's so evil, and he's been a friend of the Democrat Party since Ted Kennedy tried to use the KGB to stop Reagan from getting elected back in the 80s. Putin, a longtime friend of the Democrat Party, and an even better friend to Hillary Clinton. Oh yes, Bubba Bill got 50 times his speaking fee as a birthday present, $500,000. And we know what Obama said to Medvedev. Tell Putin, in my next term, I'll be freer to do what he wants. He was going to do Putin's will. Good friend of the Democrat Party. There's your scandal. Well, it's because of this man that we know so much about what Hillary Clinton did and what the Democrats did. And it is because of this man that put his own life on the line so the world would know the truth. This man is going to be let go, kicked out of the embassy. He's getting sicker and sicker. He's been sick for a long time. His cat disappeared. He's completely alone. He put his life on the line to save the world and prevent globalism, Hillary Clinton, the dreams of Obama, the dreams of the EU to take over the world. This man put his life on the line, and he's about to be arrested. And if he's taken in, he can be extradited to America to face death penalty charges because of the leaks, the very sensitive leaks by Chelsea Manning. Julian has 4 children. Because of his mission, he has not seen them for many, many years. Not just being locked up in the embassy. He's had to stay away from them for their protection. So their hearts are breaking. And his heart has been breaking for an awfully long time. All to save the world, to prevent globalism from taking over. If Hillary Clinton got elected, the final nail would be in the coffin. Obama got in there and broke in. He broke everything he possibly could and put everything out of order, everything in disorder that he could possibly do to destroy America. It is because of him that we know the truth. And Trump got elected. So we staved off this poison for just a little bit longer. The poison that is the EU. The poison which is worldwide communism, globalism. It is because of Julian Assange and his sacrificing himself, his family, to keep the world free and to keep the little people like us knowing what the truth is, knowing what's going on, what our leaders are doing, and that we're headed towards this unelected body of government, a dictator. Assange to be expelled from Ecuadorian Embassy within hours or days. Wikileaks is claiming that founder Julian Assange will be expelled from the Ecuadorian Embassy, where he has been since 2012. In a post on Twitter, WikiLeaks said, a high-level source within the Ecuadorian state told the organization that Assange would be expelled within hours to days from the embassy in London. The Australian-born founder of the organization has had asylum from the Ecuadorian government since 2012, when he sought to avoid extradition to the US after breaching bail terms on unrelated sexual assault charges in Sweden. Ecuadorian President Lenin Moreno has accused Assange of repeatedly violating the terms of his asylum in the embassy. Do we believe this? Or do we know better? That the unelected body of government, those who rule over us, those are the ones who are moving the candidates around. Obama, Hillary, Cortez, whoever they are. They're all going to forward the end, which is globalism. And the powers are just too powerful to stop them. Everything in the hands of the state. More and more power and control in the hands of the state. The state is the only one that can have the guns. And they're making us beg for it. Because we can't control ourselves, can we? We're like little children. The state has to take the toys away. They're not toys, they're protection. Or they're a way to get food. The state has to take them away because we're children. We're not smart. We don't know better. Only the cops, who they've taught us to hate, are the only ones with the guns. And the state? It's exactly what Hitler did. Exactly what Stalin did. Mao, Pol Pot, all of them. Marx, Lenin, Trotsky, all their dreams. And this one man has been releasing information so we know what's going on. We know so much about Hillary. We knew what was going to happen because of this one man. It was him that stood in the way just a little while longer so he could get Trump in office. And maybe we can stave it off if we're lucky for 8 years. This man is going to lose his life. But I digress. In a speech to the Ecuadorian Broadcasting Association on Tuesday, Moreno accused the whistleblowing organization of intercepting phone calls and private conversations, and also complained about photos of my bedroom, what I eat, and how my wife and daughters and friends dance. Mr. Assange has violated the agreement we reached with him in his legal counsel too many times, Moreno said. It is not that he cannot speak and express himself freely, but he cannot lie, nor, much less, hack private accounts or phones. We know this is all a lie, what Moreno is saying. But I digress. While Moreno did not explicitly blame Assange for the hacked calls and provided no evidence, his remarks reflected ongoing tension between Assange and Ecuadorian officials. The Ecuadorian government, however, has said it believes the Wikileaks organization shared the photos that depict a lavish lifestyle and date back several years to when Moreno and his family lived in Geneva, The Guardian reports. Wikileaks, in a statement, called Moreno's charges completely bogus, saying it reported on accusations of corruption against the president only after Ecuador's legislator investigated the issue. So this is after the fact. If President Moreno wants to illegally terminate a refugee publisher's asylum to cover up an offshore corruption scandal, history will not be kind, WikiLeaks said in a statement. Assange, 47, took refuge in the embassy in London in 2012 to avoid extradition to Sweden for questioning about rape allegations. Although the Swedish investigation was dropped last year, Assange still faces charges in Britain for jumping bail. Assange, an Australian national, chose to remain in the embassy out of fear that the United States would immediately seek his arrest and extradition over the leaking of classified documents to Wikileaks by then U.S. Army soldier Chelsea Manning. Assange told The Telegraph in 2013 that he lives in a small office converted into living quarters, equipped with a bed, telephone, sun lamp, computer, shower, treadmill, and a small kitchenette. The Ecuadorian authorities last year, for a second time, cut off Assange's access to the internet because of concerns that he was damaging the country's ties to Britain and other European nations, purportedly by criticizing Spain's handling of its separatist movement. It also required Assange to pay his medical bills and clean up after his cat. A cat which has since disappeared. Julian Assange will soon disappear, if not by his own hand, fleeing authorities, by the hand of someone else that will make it look like he disappeared to flee authorities. So if you pray for Julian Assange. If not for him, globalism would have already taken hold. They've already curtailed our freedom of speech. That right is already gone, if you don't realize that by now. They've put fear into us. Fear that we should turn in our guns. We can't trust ourselves. Only the state. Only the state and the police, who Obama taught us were bad. Only they can have the guns. What a twist this is. And how confused we must be. It's happening before our eyes. It's so obvious, isn't it? And God, if there's a God, help us now. Save us now. We only have one man in office. One man. Between freedom and globalism. And it's because of Julian Assange. His help. But you know, Trump can't do anything. If he does, they will implicate him in collusion with Wikileaks and Russia. If he does anything to free Assange, they will know this for sure. Or they will believe they know it for sure. They will use it to destroy the rest of America and Trump. After all, the Mueller report didn't turn up anything. But the Democrats are going to subpoena it so they can look through every single line and they can glean whatever they can out of it to try to destroy Trump. And look through every tax return, and then every tax return of his children, and every piece of personal life he has to destroy him, and then to destroy America itself by one-party rule, by globalism. Good night, and God bless. God bless and protect Julian Assange. Thank you, kind and generous soldier. We will never forget you.